Hi, everyone. Welcome to Love Yourself and Your Shape. I would like to take a minute before we start and go over some housekeeping notes. If at any time during this session you would like to leave a question or a comment or any technical support requests, please do so in the chat box. But I would like to let you know it is public, so everyone can see what you'll be sending. We'll be starting our panel with a discussion for the first 30 minutes, and we'll leave the last 10 minutes open for Q&A. So use the chat box, we'll answer your questions. This session will be recorded and available post-event. And please follow us at Glamhive to engage with us socially and keep up with all of our events and all the exciting offers through Glamhive. Also, I'd like to do a quick shout out to Mary Kay for being our presenting sponsor. Thank you so much. And without further ado, our panelists.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Gifford. I'm a celebrity stylist and I'm based out of Nashville, Tennessee.
I'm Eric Himmel and I am a celebrity stylist and I'm based out of Los Angeles.
Hi, I'm Rachel Workus. I'm a celebrity stylist and I'm based out of New York City.
Great. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. So I really would love to hear from you guys because we keep talking about size inclusivity, but I think for a lot of people, they're not exactly sure what that term means or if it's different from terms that might have been used in the past. So does anyone want to give us kind of a breakdown on what size inclusivity means to them?
I will tell you what it means to me. What it means to me, just me. To me, it means that size inclusivity means that it includes literally whatever size you are. It means that you are acknowledged and that you have things that you can buy as well for your size. And that's just not the case. It wasn't always the case. It's better now, but there's a lot of work to be done. But it's just about having availability to whatever size you are.
Yeah, I agree. I think that word plus size really is out of date and it doesn't even apply anymore. Like, I really think it's about, having a range of sizes. Obviously, I get that a brand or designer can't have, every size available, but maybe, it's including like a broader range than what we used to have. And including like you said, Eric, like every size, not just, for what we see or we used to see, on the catwalk or whatever that body shape was. I think it's really including everyone.
Tiffany, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Well, I just want to say, Eric, I love that definition, first of all. Had I been answering it, I would not have been so eloquent. I think that's a beautiful way to put it, just a size for everyone. I think we're used to seeing, myself, I've spent most of my personal life outside of dressing others, dressing myself, I'm a size 14. So by and large, most designers don't make my size. As Eric said, it's changing, which is great, but essentially most, I would say, contemporary to high-end designers make sometimes up to a size 12. Usually it does not go past that, as Eric put, that, it is kind of expanding. A lot of brands are getting the clue to kind of move things forward. But yeah, I just love that. I love that answer.
Speaking of designers, just from a business point of view, when we know the average American is a size 12, why do designers continue to exhibit things on sample size? So 0 to a 2, is it coming from the retailer? Why is that still a thing when we're all aware of the size of the average American?
I could definitely address that. I studied fashion design, so I have that kind of perspective as well, that it's a few things. There's different things. There's a snobbery about it. Like, I'm not dressing people who are above a size 8 or 10. So there's that element of it. There's a business kind of decision to make that it's just more of an investment to have a broader range of sizes. And it's harder for a designer, because I think what a lot of designers do when they want to, like, when you go into like that corner of the department store that's named something really weird, like eloquence or something, and that's where like the plus size is. And then you see that I just gotten this from a lot of clients of mine that are bigger size that shop there. It doesn't translate just to take a pattern and just make it bigger. There's things you have to do as a
Yeah.
designer to actually do it. So I think it's all those things.
Right. I think it's also this hamster wheel kind of thing where, you know, for so long, you never saw a model on the runway, you know, past the size, you know, 0 or 2. So when they would produce the collection, a lot of people, I feel like, don't fully understand the way that works, that it's like one, you know, by and large, it's usually one of that piece that goes down the runway. They don't create a whole size run at the very beginning of the collection. So they make it to fit the models that people were shooting for magazines. And so it was this cyclical thing, and no one was willing to, you know, step out in front and say, okay, wait, this is no longer, especially because fashion has opened itself up past just industry. You know, so many eyeballs are on it and want it immediately. I don't know. I just feel like no one took the chance to step out and say, okay, the people that want this are not the size we're making it in, nor the size we're showing it in, which, you know, I was at Fashion Week in February. And even then, to be honest, without naming names, I went to some fashion shows that create sizing for everyone, and they didn't represent everyone on the runway, which is a bit of a disconnect.
Yeah, I agree with Eric. It's like a that snobbery thing where that's like kind of working in the past, you know, like thinking that that's the, you know, that girl is that size 2, you know, shows the clothes the best. But I don't think in reality that's not true at all, you know. And I know for myself, like I fluctuate so much after having babies and going back and forth in weight. And you go to the stores, and to me, like sometimes I even find that those bigger sizes are gone. Like they don't even make enough of those sizes, where I'm seeing extra smalls or smalls still there. And like the size that I'm looking for, which right now, like I'm, you know, size 10, 12 right now after having a baby. And it's harder even to find those sizes. I think that actually those are the people that are buying the clothes, you know? So, and that's like more where I think retailers are producing those clothes. I think they're starting to really get there. I see more, you know, the girls I'm dressing, we're not doing sample sizes, and the brands are getting a little bit more aware that they have to, you know, let us pull from stores or that kind of thing. But I really think that, yeah, it's not that size 20 anymore. You know, that's not that girl.
Do you guys feel like there's something on the industry side that could change, that companies could do to be better? Is it stores ordering a larger piece count for all sizes, or is it the, you know, on the design side, is it them pushing pieces? Is there anything that can be done, is what I'm trying to get to, do you think?
I think to me, it's the chicken and the egg. I think a lot of stores think like, I'm nervous to make an order for bigger sizes because I don't know if people will buy it. And it just drives me crazy all the time, because people or some brands think for some reason there's this correlation between women who are bigger size and women, and they don't want to spend money. I don't know why
exactly.
it is. It drives me crazy. It is just flat out rude. It's just
rude.
that
they don't want luxury or something, that they, you know,
or they can't afford it, or like,
they kind of,
yeah. People who are bigger don't have money to spend or something. And I'm like, you know, you sound crazy when you say that.
Yeah, I see that too, where you see like even for swimwear, you're trying to get things that actually fit. And it's all the bigger sizes stuff. It seems cheap. It's all, I can't find the market for like a really nice swimsuit in a bigger size. Everything seems to be very grandma-ish or, you know, cheap looking. And that's not the case. Like, you know, that's kind of disappointing.
I always say it's either sister wife or it's hooker. It's
yeah.
Like in between.
That material, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys think that there's any brands or even influencers, anyone out there who's doing work to kind of push the envelope a bit, or to create more opportunity and more discussion around size inclusivity?
Definitely, for sure. I feel like 11 Honore does a really great job of that. They have made such strides with designers, because it is complicated. I mean, and Eric touched on this in the first question about scaling sizing. It does change once it goes past a certain size. The sizing scale changes, and it is more expensive to scale it for to be completely size inclusive. I lost my train of thought. What was the question?
I was asking if you thought that if there was any brands or even people in the public eye.
Love and Honore does a great job. And also Katie Storino is a really, really great advocate. And she has no qualms about, basically trying on things on her Instagram page and saying, this is a size 12, it's the biggest you make. I really would love to wear it. But, she gets a lot of traction off of that, I feel like. She's created a brand, I think, called Mega Babe for women of all sizes, but addressing things that we all have to deal with, like thigh chafe. Most of us have to deal with that, I feel like.
I think
Sorry, go ahead.
Also Christian Siriano, like for
Totally.
high-end designer, he really is. I feel like I've worked with him a couple times. Obviously, that's not what everyone can work with him directly, but he really includes a broader range, and I think that's for like a more expensive line. But for just high street stores, I would say American Eagle or Aerie, they do such a great job, and clothes that are perfect right now for quarantine, like loungewear stuff. And that Girlfriend brand, it's activewear, and they're doing such great, where their imagery, their advertising is including all women and body shapes, and I find that to be really interesting, and I really like their concept. It's pretty cool.
I love Love and Honore too. They're amazing, and I just think they're amazing that they actually just reached out to so many designers, and they had to twist a lot of their arms to really do this. Nobody was doing this, so they were really instrumental in really just making like designer stuff that I'm sure a lot of women die to wear. They just want to wear it, just make it in our size.
Totally.
And they just they were able to facilitate that. I also like Good American because I just love their stuff. It's just easy, and I think they go up to like a size 40 or something. I don't know,
they do,
like, something like that. And I'm like, it's amazing. Like, and the stuff looks chic, but it looks like on trend, and it's easy and casual. It just feels like easy.
Yeah, and you can get it. It's easy to buy. You can go to a store online. Yeah, I like them too.
Now, as much as, we're all talking from the perspective of, the consumer and somewhat in the fashion realm, where do we think some onus falls for advertisers and the people who are marketing these clothes? Is there responsibility there for them to be more inclusive in, even if it's just in the optics, so that people can see themselves in these clothes?
I think they portray, what the designer and the brand is kind of they're going for, right? So I think they can give a lot of insight to the designer or the brand or the store or the retailer, and kind of, explore, like, this is what the real woman wants. Like, they have a lot of insight that they can actually, help the designer portray to us, as the consumer.
I agree.
So
yeah, I agree. I think they have so much power, and I think they should be portraying women of all sizes in a much more organic way more often. The thing that kind of bothers me a lot of times, the way they portray women who are not, maybe bigger than a size like 10, is that I feel like it's always about like, their body just being very natural. And I'm like, I'm in fashion. Like, I want to see people look amazing. And I'm sure all three of us, Rachel, Tiffany, and I, know how to dress anybody, and make them look amazing. And so I want to see them portrayed looking like high fashion.
Yeah.
Sizes.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Tiffany, did you want to speak to that at all?
I don't know that I can add anything. I definitely agree with both Rachel and Eric. I feel like, it needs to be portrayed in advertising, because that's where people that's what's going to draw people in and tell people what the brand is all about. But also agree with Eric in the sense that it needs to feel organic. It needs to not be like, ooh, look at what we did. We're with the times or whatever. People get excited about every time, a girl larger than a size 6 walks a runway, and it's just like, really? Like,
yeah, that should be normal. Yeah.
Shouldn't we be past that at this point?
Yeah.
And I also think it's not just women, it's for men as well. Like,
oh my gosh,
I know my husband is a bigger guy. He's a tall, bigger guy. And he always wants, he's interested in buying high street and, some designer pieces and mixing it in. And it's hard for him as well. Like, I was talking about this with him and he was saying, why is it only about women? I only hear you talk about women. And I'm like, it's true. It's men, like, they're getting excluded as well. I feel like, why an extra large sometimes isn't really an extra large. It fits like a medium, like when we buy things. So I think that there's definitely potential and room to like grow in that area as well for them.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
Sure. I feel like that's the next frontier for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've dressed a lot of, like, male athletes, and I'm like, it's like, that's why they always get custom suiting.
Yeah, they have to.
That's their option.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to go custom, otherwise, it doesn't fit properly.
Right. For those people that can't afford that, though, because I have musicians that are just starting out. I worked with a guy this spring, and literally the only place I could find things that would fit him was ASOS, which I'm so grateful there, because they're another one that's really great with size inclusivity. But I was telling 11 on Array, when are you going to do men's? When are you going to do men's?
Mm-hmm.
I hope they do it soon, because I would be their biggest customer. Did any of you see on Twitter, because when Rihanna did her Savage Fenty show, when they released all the stuff, they had plus size male models as underwear models?
Yeah,
that's amazing. I didn't see that.
It's so good. Yeah.
Twitter went crazy.
Yeah.
Now, where do we think the line is between, because, with shapewear and strategic dressing and all these things, what is the line between feeling comfortable and really kind of doing some mental and emotional damage to ourselves, trying to rework our shape? Spanx are great, but when you have someone wearing a corset and Spanx and a waist cincher and all these things, what is that telling them that they're putting on every day? They have, like, there's an emotional blowback from all of those things. What is the line?
I think for me, it's about like feeling health has to come into play, right? Like, you have to just feel good. So it's like, forget about the size, forget about the scale. Like, do you feel good in your clothes? Do you feel like you can maintain this weight and this body without having to do like these crazy crash dieting or things like that, where you can't maintain just like, a happy, normal life. So I think it's just finding a place where you just feel good. It's not about the number, what size you wear. It's really about like dressing for your body and feeling good in your own skin. And I think that has to come down to like, also, are you healthy? Do you feel good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a personal choice. I think when you try to convince somebody they're not good enough or that's not working, then I think that's where the problem begins. It's all about confidence. And so you don't want to make someone feel bad. But I always say that's why it's important for celebrities. They get photographed so much. So if you're going somewhere like a wedding and you're going to get photographed a lot, then maybe you do want to, you tell people like, maybe you do want to wear the shapewear and you want to, because, those pictures go on longer than you. So then maybe you make the effort, but it's just a personal choice. I think you shouldn't judge people for wanting to do it and not wanting to do it.
Yeah. And some people love wearing those pieces, like they love how that feels, like that, like they feel sucked in, they feel good. It makes them stand up straight, those types of things. And other people feel like, oh, I feel like a sausage, I just feel like It doesn't, sometimes I don't like wearing those things personally because I feel like, oh, I just feel stuffed in. I think you have to find the right pieces, and they definitely do help when you found the right one. Maybe it's not Spanx, maybe it's Skims or whatever it is. But I don't think it's about not judging and just doing what feels good for you,
Absolutely. I feel like I have clients that I have one client in particular who to put a name to what you were just talking about. Jack calls it the 7-layer dip. Because she feels like she has, for tours, she has so many different layers she has to put on. But just like Rachel and Eric said, I leave it up to them. I mean, you know, I make sure that the options are available. But oftentimes the shapewear pieces don't solve the problems either. Is that, you know, in terms of, you know, maybe it rolls down, or, you know, there's a space between, you know, the bra isn't covering where it's supposed to. So the smoothest, to me, it's, you know, where you get that completely smooth look for a photograph, means no shapewear. So it doesn't always solve what you're trying to, you know, fix or whatever. But I think at the end of the day, you have to do whatever's going to make you feel the best. And that probably means maybe taking a photograph of yourself before you leave, if you're going to a special event where you're going to be photographed, you know, to make sure that you're going to be happy, that it's going to make you feel good, you know, whatever you end up with.
So do you guys have any advice for women on how to just maximize their confidence with the shape they have, instead of trying to create a new shape? What are some things any woman can do to feel more comfortable and confident with her body as it is?
I mean, I feel like buying clothes that fit, you know, not trying to squeeze into sizes that aren't yours. And that's okay. The size doesn't matter. What matters is that it fits. Which is why it's so great that some of these brands are becoming more and more inclusive. You know, with a client of mine, with 11 Honoré specifically, it was a Christian Siriano dress that I had pulled for her, and she put it on, and she said she could see herself going out on a date for the first time in years. There's so much power in getting clothes that are your size. It just makes you feel so amazing, you know, when by and large you're going to stores and you're not seeing your size represented. So yeah, I think buying things that really fit you well. Tailoring.
I agree with,
also.
yeah,
Sorry.
I agree with that. I think it's really like dressing for your body, not the trend, you know, like, even though you think in that magazine, oh, that look looks so great, you know, knowing that like, I can't wear that midriff, or, you know, I can't wear a big oversized thing because it actually makes me look bigger, or, you know, just knowing what looks good on you. And I even think picking, not wearing the same thing every day, but sort of knowing your uniform is what I say, you know, kind of knowing what looks good on you and mixing it up with, you know, different pieces, different colors, different textures, but knowing like I look great in a slim, like a little bit of a flare jean, like with a shirt tucked in and a belt, you know, just knowing what looks good on you, and dressing for your body is actually better than, you know, having the trendiest outfit on. And yeah, like you said, Tiffany, buying things that are your size, because I sometimes personally, like, I'm like, I love that. I'll fit into that. You know, after I lose weight from the baby, I'm going to fit into that. And then it sits there, and then you're like, I just got to get rid of it. So it's really about maximizing your wardrobe, but, you know, buying for what fits your body.
Yeah. It's like you'd feel shamed walking into your own closet.
Yeah, exactly.
Me, it's about, I have a pet peeve about when women don't have the right size bra or the right
undergarment.
Always starts with the bra. I can't tell you. That's all where I always start. Always get it fitted for a good bra. And then the other thing is I would say spend your money on tailoring. I'd rather you get like something that doesn't have to be the most designer expensive thing, but when you get it tailored, it can look so expensive and good. I think
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, so true.
Tailoring can seem daunting to, like, we're all in the industry, so we think of tailoring as nothing. Do you have any kind of advice for people who might not live in a big city or have access to like a fancy tailor the way that we would?
I mean, usually a dry cleaner has a tailor. You know, I mean, you need to make sure you find someone that, you know, you're confident in, I feel like. And I don't know, I kind of feel like you can just like Google it. Right? I mean, I don't know. I don't find like I just, to me, the small effort that goes into finding someone is like worth it.
Yeah, I think you can find people anywhere. Like, yeah, you said Google the best tailored dry cleaner in your area, and, you know, try them out with one piece and see if you like them. I think, or, you know, if you don't have access to a stylist, FaceTime your friend and say, does this jacket look good? Like I think knowing where things should hit, you know, those little details, and even just having someone else, maybe not even a stylist, look at it and say like, oh, you should nip it at the waist a tiny bit, or it's too long on the wrist. I think just you can get it tailored really anywhere you are. Just kind of knowing, you know, what looks good on your body, what shapes the best for your body, makes a huge difference. But even if you don't have access to a stylist, like a friend can lend it's just another eye, you know, to see. And then finding someone you feel comfortable with that's going to tailor your stuff, and you can just test a few different dry cleaners. Like I have some clients in San Diego. There's not really that much going on down there, you know, where she lives, and we found the most amazing tailor, you know, and so now she can go in and she doesn't even have to like FaceTime me or anything. She just goes in and he knows exactly what to do. So it's possible.
Okay. Eric, you had mentioned bras being super important. Do you guys find that there's any other pieces that are kind of essential when, you know, building a size inclusive and body positive wardrobe? Is there anything that you feel like this has been a key to your success in any way?
I feel like convincing women who feel that they're not like a typical model size to actually show their body and their shape more, I actually think it always looks better. There's a fine line between like too tight and vulgar and not comfortable, but I feel that sometimes they want to put on like muumuus, and I feel like just saying like your body looks great and, you know, show it, or show parts of it that you feel comfortable. I always ask them like, what one part do you like? Well, let's work on showing that then. So I just feel like it's about, maybe that's not quite the answer, like it's not a piece, but it's about it's a different way to think about dressing.
I mean, I think any kind of advice is solid when it comes to this, because it is such a emotionally fraught ideology. You know, we've been sold for so long the idea that to be perfect, you have to be X, and most people are not. So even if it's just a good frame, like headspace to get into, it's probably helpful. Ladies, do either of you have any?
Yeah, I have some. I just tried, I had 2 pregnant clients this award season, and doing some different things most recently. And Skims body tape. Prior to that, I had skin colored gaff tape in my kit, which I don't recommend. It's a little painful to remove. Hey, it does the job better than duct tape, right? Anyway, Skims body tape, and there's a new adhesive bra company that makes bra like a lifter. So if you need something that's backless, called Brassy Bra, that's amazing, and they also have body tape. They're amazing. Definitely, you need some seamless thong underwear moments. As Eric said, get a really great bra that fits you, get a really great strapless bra that fits you. You just definitely need to have kind of all of those things in your arsenal, for whatever, you know. I mean, I would say those things are more special event, like the sticky bras and that kind of thing, but it's always good to have them, so you're not having to, you know, source them last minute. I know Skims is sold out of their body tape right now, but anyway, so you don't want to be scouring for it last minute.
Yeah, I think like invest in good underwear, good bras, maybe a bodysuit is the smoothing. Those are always kind of easy and comfortable. They don't like roll up. I love a slip dress, and I think it's just super easy, especially when I was pregnant. I was wearing those under, you know, dresses that might be a bit more see-through or sheer. I think those really helped, you know, keep everything smooth. But I think, yeah, like Eric said, it's investing in the first layer, which is the bra and the underwear. And I think that even though people don't see it, it's worth the money, so that it fits properly and that it, you know, it looks good, because it is the first, like, and foremost layer, I think, of dressing.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of you have any specific styling experiences that kind of involve strategic figure flattery? Anything where you thought, oh, that was a great thing that we were able to work through, either with the client or even with yourselves. I mean, I know there are times where I'm like, oh, look what I just did. You know, like you look in the mirror and you're like, I just did that. Is there anything that you guys could share with us?
I had mentioned that I had 2 pregnant clients, and a little trick that I found, which I feel like I haven't really had that many pregnant clients, so it was a first for me, but putting the cotton ball in your belly button and putting body tape over it, which gets rid of the divot that you see if you have something that's form-fitting across the belly.
I love that style.
Yeah,
that's a good tip.
I thought that was a great tip.
Really good tip. I like that. I would say, I mean, I think it's very style 101, but I just feel like if you have a waist, start at the waist. I feel like it's always about showing your waist. And I think women who are not, again, like a size 2, 4, 6, they don't get that. And a lot of them have waists, they have curves. It's a bigger proportion.
Sure.
But when you show that waist and everything, you work off of that going up and down, it's just really flattering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Interesting. These are some good tips, guys. I don't know if the cotton ball and the belly button is going to work for me, but I'm going to try it.
You never know. I mean, if you want to wear something like a body stocking.
Super tight.
I've had to, since COVID, I've had to pull out my old sailor pants and just have a real high waist recently. So
I love it.
That's my go-to. How do you guys, when you're working with a client, how do you prepare them? Do you because I know, I mean, all therapists are actually stylists who happen to have clothing. Do you guys have those conversations? Do you talk through it with your clients, and kind of what are some things that you guys have encountered that you think would benefit people watching to hear? Just, how to have these conversations, even if it's with yourself.
I would say be honest with them and yourself. You really want to find out when somebody's uncomfortable. I always say, like, you could have like a $10,000 Versace gown and be like, this is fabulous. But if they're not comfortable in it, doesn't speak to them.
It shows.
It's going to show. Yeah. So I think you need to listen, whether it's a celebrity or just a regular person you're styling or yourself. You need to listen. Kind of back to what you said, someone said, Jack or somebody, about looking in the looking at a magazine and looking at an ad and being like, I love that, but it doesn't work for you. You need to be truthful with yourself. Like, would you feel comfortable in it? Does it work for you? But I always just have to start with listening to my clients, like really listen to them. Don't be that stylist. I think a lot of stylists get caught up in this. They're like, they just want to get that score, with the amazing dress, and they're going to put their client in it one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just about being honest with yourself and your client, like you said, like going through and saying, like, even if it's like the best designer dress, maybe it doesn't look like that great on them. Maybe that's not the right shape, So I think it's, again, sticking with what works for your body and complimenting, the figure that you have, and kind of sticking to those styles. But it also is, making sure they feel good. Like I think Tiffany said, take a picture before you go out on the red carpet, or go out anywhere. Just if you're not going to a red carpet, take a picture, make sure you feel good. But I think being comfortable and being able to, like, really where your personality shines, and so that you're not taking over by that look, I think that's where, like, that's the most important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that old adage of like something wearing you instead of you wearing.
Exactly.
That's like, you don't want that.
No.
Right. And you can see it on their face. I had a situation where I had a client, and Brandon Maxwell had made this amazing dress, and it was, country music, and styling country music is it's a whole different ball of wax. And in terms of getting designers to pay attention, and I'd been in touch with Brandon right when he started. I knew he was from Texas, so I was like, hey, Texas boy, I'm Texan too, like, let's work together. Anyway, and he made this amazing gown. She would have been the very first country artist to ever wear Brandon Maxwell. It was a huge moment. And when she put it on, she didn't feel great. And so we moved forward, and thank goodness Brandon, having been a stylist before, knew, you know, he was, you know, I mean, it's always a little disappointing, but he was so gracious about all of it. But I could see on her face, you know, and as history making it would, as it would have been in, you know, the genre that I've worked mostly with, it was not in my best interest, nor did I want to try to push that on somebody if she did not feel 100% beautiful on it. I mean, it's so hard it's so hard to go on a red carpet where you're supposed to feel your most beautiful self. And
well, kudos to you too.
No,
I'm glad you didn't push her to wear
it.
A lot of stylists would have done that.
Thanks. No, I mean, I feel like, I think, you know, Jack hit it on the head with, we're really therapists, you know, with clothing. And I think we all, people who are able to make styling a living, we all have that kind of intuitive nature, which usually we can kind of tell somebody's insecurities well before they tell us, which is such a gift in what we do, because we're able to perhaps bypass some of those uncomfortable conversations because we already know. I mean, a client of mine said to me, you know, you never say sizing, like you never use numbers in your fittings. And I actually wasn't ever even aware that I didn't, but I probably intuitively knew that, you know, she's not sample size. I know how I feel, you know, when I'm not able to, you know, historically speaking, when I wasn't able to fit into a certain size or whatnot. So I just think, I don't know, I think you have to be that for yourself too, to take it from a celebrity styling perspective to your own closet. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to be intuitive about how you're feeling that day, even, not even in general. You know what I mean? Be kind to yourself, wear what makes you feel like your most beautiful self, because we're all a gift. And I'm just getting to the place where I feel like I'm seeing my body as a gift and not as a curse. And luckily, I feel like we're moving in the right direction in our industry, that hopefully we'll get to a place where we'll all feel that way.
Yeah. This time was supposed to be kind of reserved for attendees' questions. No one has submitted anything. So if anyone's watching and you have a question, please send it through. I have some questions that I would just really like to hear about from you guys. One of which, is there anyone, I know, Tiffany, you had spoken about someone who used Instagram and kind of highlighted the experience of what it is. Is there anyone that you guys follow who you found really inspirational or really empowering that maybe other people could follow?
I just happen to love, I mean, she's not she is an influencer because she's huge. I love Lizzo, just because I feel like Lizzo is that perfect combination of being relevant, being comfortable, taking chances, getting it right, like really so much of the time. And I don't know who styles her, but they do a great job. And if it's a collaboration, but I just really love Lizzo as a representation of kind of what you can be when you're into fashion and you're not a typical, like, you know, what you see on like the runway.
I could say, I mean, Ashley Graham, I mean, she's huge too, but I think she does a great job of just, you know, being who you are, you know, it's not even I think she always looks great too. And she shows off her body. She wears things that are fitted instead of wearing these, you know, that she would wear a muumuu, but she wears things that are fitted, and she's taking risks that way. And I think she's just also about like just being yourself, you know, be kind to yourself. And I think she's pretty great to follow.
We did just have a question come in from Ariana. Do you have any specific resources or guides for best styles for certain body shapes or specific brands for certain body shapes?
I feel like there'd be a laundry list. That's a hard one, to be honest. I feel like I'd have to do some research, honestly. I don't know. I mean, because there definitely are brands out there that are good for certain body shapes. But if we could maybe narrow it down to one specific one, I don't know.
And we're about to be out of time, but maybe we can all put our brains together and send it over to Stephanie at Glamhive, and she could publish it there at some point.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I wanted to thank you personally for taking the time to talk with me. I want to thank everyone who's watching. I really hope you guys learned as much as I feel like I did. We're going to have a quick 5-minute break for you to get into your next panel. And again, thank you so much, guys. I hope you all are staying healthy and safe. And it was so great talking to you. Thank you.
Nice talking to you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.